Many issues in your life can be resolved with just one solution. Many dreams you cherish can be achieved more quickly with just one approach. And many of your fears can be easily overcome with just one method. Everything you are currently struggling with, distractions, stress, time pressure, anxiety about the future, and work overload, can be managed if you know how to get yourself into a state of flow. A 10-year study by McKinsey found that when we enter a flow state, our ability to concentrate increases by 500%. This means that if you truly know how to get into flow, you can accomplish a week's worth of work in just 2 days and a day's worth of work in just 90 minutes. In studies conducted by the US military, snipers in a flow state learn faster than normal, by 200 to 500%. Research on the concept of flow began in the 1960s. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi is considered the founder of this theory. He stated that those who operate most in a flow state are the happiest people on Earth. So, what exactly is a flow state? What makes it the most desirable state in the world? In fact, flow has been thoroughly researched and applied in top-performing organizations, such as the Navy SEALs or tech companies in Silicon Valley. Some people describe the flow state as a religious experience. It also operates in a cycle consisting of 4 phases. You must know how to enter flow, but you also need to know how to exit flow to enter the next cycle. Most people do not understand this. As a result, they often become frustrated when they cannot concentrate and ultimately give up right before they reach the flow state. You need to understand these 4 phases if you really want to master the art of flow. And all the secrets of flow will be revealed in this video. Although I've tried to simplify some of the deep scientific explanations, the video may still be a bit lengthy. However, it contains the core ideas and detailed steps for implementation. Now, let's explore what the flow state is. If you've ever been so focused on a task that you forgot everything else, only to realize that 1 or 2 hours have passed and it felt like only 15 minutes, that is the flow state. When you operate in a flow state, time flies, your ego disappears, endurance increases while pain decreases. It is the state in which you achieve optimal experience and peak performance, where distractions and self-doubt are pushed aside to make room for a powerful feeling of excitement and complete focus on the present moment. This is when your learning, motivation, performance, and creativity all skyrocket. So, what is the difference between a flow state and mere concentration? Flow often occurs after a period of high concentration. Initially, you direct your awareness toward a problem. That is, attention. You hold that attention for a period of time. That is concentration, and when all your focus is continuously and intensely directed at the present moment, that is when you achieve a flow state. In other words, attention leads to concentration, which finally leads to flow. Previously, flow was a mysterious black box, known only through the subjective recollections of those who experienced it. However, with the advancement of machines and brain imaging technologies, scientists have identified and measured the changes in brain waves and the release of neurotransmitters that occur when you operate in a flow state, which creates a different sensation than mere concentration. So, why does the flow state bring about such miraculous changes in perception, productivity, or creativity? Why do so many people describe it as mystical, transcendent, like a religious experience? Because when you enter a flow state, you simultaneously experience 4 sensations. First, you forget your self-awareness. We all know that the prefrontal cortex is responsible for performing the brain's higher functions, such as language, memory, logical thinking, and planning. It is also where our subjective sense of self regarding our thoughts, feelings, and desires is created. This is the most evolved part of our brain that distinguishes us from other species. However, all this evolution comes at a price. Because we can think, it also causes us a lot of suffering in the form of anxiety, depression, anger, or regret. This is the trade-off of evolution to give us self-awareness. However, when you enter a flow state, the prefrontal cortex temporarily shuts down. This means the stream of thoughts in your head turns off, and your inner critic becomes silent. Without self-talk to stir up negative critical emotions or self-doubt, stress dissipates, and we gain the confidence and courage to do anything we want. We achieve clarity of mind, flexible thinking, and can see everything from a fresh perspective. That is why many people regard the flow experience as mystical and transcendent. This is the benefit of flow. By occasionally forgetting ourselves, we have the chance to discover a better version of ourselves. The second sensation in a flow state is a loss of awareness of time. Our sense of time is also processed in the prefrontal cortex. When the prefrontal cortex stops functioning in a flow state, we cannot perform this time calculation anymore.
We forget about time. Therefore, all the energy that would have been used to process time is redirected toward concentration, allowing our brains to absorb and process data faster and in greater quantity. When the prefrontal cortex is temporarily inactive, our attention focuses entirely on the present moment. We cease reflecting on the past, worrying, or daydreaming about the future. At this point, we stop accessing the most primitive and reactive part of our brain, the amygdala, where fight or flight responses occur. This makes us calmer. Flow is the only state in which our brain simultaneously releases a series of neurotransmitters. For example, dopamine, endorphins, serotonin, and oxytocin. All of these chemicals are pleasurable, enhancing our performance and creativity. You achieve peak performance with the least effort. The flow state is addictive because it elevates the experience of life to a new level, where enjoyment replaces boredom. Helplessness turns into a feeling of control, and anxiety gives way to enthusiasm. This is the experience of happiness, a deep sense of fulfillment. That is why thrill seekers risk their lives for their sports. Why those who practice spirituality willingly embrace hardship to seek enlightenment. Or why many movie stars are willing to give up fame, fortune, and power to return to seemingly ordinary jobs. The fourth sensation is emotional and intellectual elevation. When we are in a flow state, we transcend our thoughts and quell our inner worries, allowing us to immerse ourselves in the present moment. This makes tasks easier because our bodies are flooded with pleasure-inducing chemicals. These chemicals create the happiest individuals on Earth, enabling you to surpass your limits and achieve the highest peaks in learning speed, creativity, and problem-solving, things you cannot attain in a normal state. Now, the important question is, how can we access the flow state? There are many different triggering factors for flow that you can utilize. The more of these suitable triggers you gather, the better your chances of entering the flow state. Now let's go through some of the most important factors. The first factor is complete focus. Flow follows concentration. To enter a flow state, you need to be entirely immersed in the present moment and fully focused on it. Conversely, this also means that any distractions that could lead to a loss of focus are counterproductive to flow. Therefore, you first need to steer clear of noisy and disruptive environments, eliminate distractions, and ensure that necessary tools are conveniently positioned for flow. The second factor is having a clear goal. Clear goals tell us where to direct our attention and when. Attention creates focus. Focus is the gateway to flow. When the goal is clear, our minds do not have to wonder about what to do or what to do next, because it already knows that. So, what constitutes a clear goal? When we talk about goals, we often envision grand aspirations, like winning an Olympic gold medal, standing on stage to receive an Oscar, or running multi-million-dollar companies. Those are goals, but they are not clear enough to trigger a flow state. Writing a 200-word essay in 60 minutes is clearer than simply saying, "I will practice writing in English." Therefore, break down tasks into clear goals. The third triggering factor is immediate feedback. Clear goals inform us of what we need to do, while immediate feedback shows us how to do it better. When we receive real-time feedback to enhance our productivity, our minds won't wander. We maintain complete focus, making it more likely to achieve a state of high concentration. That is why thrill seekers easily enter flow states. If they are surfing and need to catch a wave, they just have to adjust their balance slightly. They immediately see how it alters their surfing trajectory. The physical environment provides immediate feedback on their movements. That is also why many people prefer playing video games to school. Winning or losing is just a button press or mouse click away. Feedback is immediate. Video games create a flow state, and flow is the most addictive state in the world. If you work too long on a project without receiving feedback, you will increasingly go off track. Conversely, only surgeons improve the most after leaving medical school because making a mistake in the operating room can lead to patient death. That is immediate feedback. Whenever you complete a task, take a moment to acknowledge the effort and results you just achieved. Tell yourself that you worked hard, you're on the right track, and you will continue to improve. This is how we can provide immediate feedback to ourselves. The fourth activating factor is the challenge-skill ratio. Attention is most focused in the present moment when there is a balance between the difficulty of what we are doing and the skills we have to accomplish it. If the challenge is too great, it causes stress and anxiety. If it's too easy, you will feel bored and indifferent. Flow lies at the sweet spot between challenge and skill, where the level of challenge slightly exceeds your current ability. Ideally, it should be something that makes you think, "That sounds challenging, but I believe I can do it." In the process of exceeding this challenge, we live some of the most exciting times of our lives. This also means that the better you get at something, the easier it is to enter a flow state. The more experience you have in a task, the more often and intensely you will experience flow. Lifelong learners who continuously strive for improvement are the ones who experience flow the most. They are the happiest people. However, there will be times when we have to do tasks that are so difficult that they make us feel stressed and overwhelmed. But we still need to complete them and do so to the best of our ability. At those times, practicing breathing exercises is the best way to help us calm down. But you should also practice breathing exercises daily. Don't wait until you need to focus intensely to try practicing breathing exercises for the first time.
Conversely, if you are doing a truly boring job but still need to complete it, how can you make it a bit more interesting? In that case, create a sense of urgency for yourself by setting a deadline that forces you to complete it in a short time. Now let's explore the flow cycle. The first phase is the struggle phase. What does it feel like when we learn a new language or skill? It often seems confusing, requiring a lot of energy and attention, but for some reason we hardly see results, right? When we gather information in this phase, we often struggle with anxiety, confusion, frustration, and insecurity. But that's a good thing. Our brain needs to gather information to piece together a meaningful order. At this moment, it is connecting each fragment to create a complete picture of what we are about to do. The tension in this phase may seem contrary to the flow state, but it is necessary. Our brain needs to be pushed out of its comfort zone, activating the fight or flight response to help focus and stay alert. You just need to ensure that the challenge is not too difficult compared to your current skills to avoid feeling paralyzed. So, learn to recognize your initial feelings of confusion and stress. Accept them as a good sign, indicating that you are about to enter the flow state. In a growth mindset, framing challenges in the early stages as opportunities for learning and development is crucial. The second phase of flow is the release phase. This is when you let go. Release means letting go of everything you are trying to achieve. If in the first phase, your brain was absorbing too much information, your awareness is full. In the second phase, you recognize the need to stop to avoid burnout.
It's best to do something different, like gentle movement outside to calm your brain, such as walking or stretching. The release phase is critical for entering the flow state because it allows the brain to release conscious control, reducing frontal lobe activity to facilitate the transition from intentional thinking to automatic, subconscious processing. After phase 2 comes phase 3, which is the flow phase. When you return to your task, you may enter the flow state. After you relax, eliminate all distractions. Set a timer for 90 minutes. Take a few breaths to shift your state and get to work. After 90 to 120 minutes, your brain will naturally exit the state of concentration. Flow places significant pressure on our central nervous system, brain, and body. It requires a lot of resources and taps into reserves we have accumulated over time to prepare for the flow phase. So don't overdo it. After 90 to 120 minutes, pause to transition to phase 4. Phase 4 is called the recovery phase. Active recovery is a stage you cannot skip because without it, you will burn out and find it hard to start a new flow cycle. Recovery is different from relaxation. Relaxation means sitting on the sofa, watching a movie, or scrolling through social media. Recovery involves doing things that rejuvenate your mind and body. Typically, relaxing activities do not benefit the recovery process, and often activities that are extremely beneficial for recovery are not relaxing at all. For example, cold water baths are highly effective for recovery, but they are not relaxing at all. High-intensity exercise is the best way to recover after a mentally exhausting flow session to complete a piece of writing, but high-intensity exercise is also not relaxing. This is the paradox of the recovery phase. At the end of an incredibly hard workday, the most appealing thing is often to lie down and scroll through social media. But in reality, what is most effective for your body and brain, and for your next day, is to do something that requires a bit more effort, such as yoga, swimming, or cycling. These are recommended active recovery methods. It could be walking, sauna sessions, massages, intimate conversations with loved ones, or outdoor activities to immerse yourself in nature. Especially, sleep is the most natural and miraculous recovery system of the human body. Sleep is where the magic happens. It's where your body regenerates and recovers, as well as consolidates memories. So don't cut back on or neglect your sleep. And there are some ways you can work in a flow state. Work in focused blocks of about 90 minutes, then take about 20 minutes to rest, with a maximum of 3 to 4 blocks each day to avoid burnout. If you are familiar with your tasks, you can transition to the recovery phase and skip the struggle phase in the same day. And that is the core content about flow that I wanted to share in this video. Become proficient in achieving the flow state, and you will perform better in any work you do. I hope these insights inspire you to explore and learn how to achieve more flow states in your life. I hope this video is helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a wonderful day.